All right. Good evening. Happy Thursday. We are back again. Back again for another episode of Let's Talk Jaws Live. How's everybody doing?
Better than Janie was.
Better than Janie was doing. That's exactly right. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so should I say it in basically short term? So I am definitely allergic to seafood. Sadly, a rep had brought in some food that was crazy, and I went anaphylactic today. Yay! I had my first EpiPen shot today. Yay! So that's off the bucket list. But I'm here. I'm ready.
That's
Let's
all that
go.
matters.
That's all that
That's
matters.
what
I'm talking.
That's
matters.
all that matters.
So
That's right.
everybody applaud for that, because it is a special show tonight. There you go. Applause, round of applause. Jeannie didn't stop breathing, so there you go. Okay. Been a fun film. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
all right.
Good.
Yeah. Doing all right. It's a Thursday. The weather's kind of we keep going back and forth from rainy and cold to warm and sunny and you know.
Yeah, we are too. So Mike, is it the same with you guys there in
Yeah, it was
Missouri?
beautiful yesterday and cold and rainy today.
Yeah. Yep. We're supposed
Crazy.
more rain through Saturday through the weekend again. So
Yeah. So
could be
so
snow
now
and
that
ice
I
in
can
there.
breathe, I can get a snorkel and go swimming in the rain.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say after reading what you sent me, the best part was is I'm sitting there and I'm reading this and it's going, I couldn't breathe, airway closed up, so I took Benadryl and drove home. I thought that sounds like yeah,
Benadryl.
yeah.
Benadryl.
That's my mentality, Put some duct tape on
Listen,
it and deal with it.
or or butter. My
listen.
mom always rubbed butter on it.
Butter,
I'm,
yes,
I'm, I'm,
butter,
I am determined, man. Throw some dirt on it. Let's go. So, you know,
butter. Oh,
but
and
here,
what was the red stuff? Was it mercurochrome? Remember the red stuff that burned
Yeah,
like
mercurochrome.
crazy?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
And
I,
some of
I would
them,
hide getting hurt just to not get that crap put on me.
and then
No,
Bactine. You get the Bactine that always burned.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, good
Just be
stuff.
careful with what happens, guys, so you don't get an EpiPen.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, at least you had it available to you and got caught in time. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. We got
mhm.
roll a couple of comments in here. A couple of people asking about you. Sonia,
Hey,
good to hear
Sonia.
from you.
Hello, hello.
Hope you're doing well. We got Victor chiming in. Hello, Vic. Looks like we got Matt back on with us again tonight. Hello, Matt.
Riley, how you
Good to see
doing?
you guys. Yeah. Hi, Sonia and Mr. Detroit Rock City. Yep. People chatting back and forth, asking everyone how they're doing. That's awesome.
I
Very
love
cool.
it. I love it.
I always love to see that. Yep. Welcome, Matt. Hi, Victor. And my snorkel days ended when the shark followed the wife and I from the water to the beach, teaching me valuable lesson. Pools are fun. Yes.
Did you not see the movie though, Matt? I'm just curious. I'm kidding. I kid. I kid.
Had a fisherman tell me a long time ago, if you want to know if there's sharks in the water, you walk up and taste the water. If it tastes salty,
Yeah.
the answer is yes.
Yep. There it is.
The
So
answer is
ahead
yes.
of it, yeah, ahead of it. If you hear me coughing, I'm sorry. It's because I'm still kind of like from this afternoon, but I'm here. I'm ready to rock. So
That's good. That's what counts. You're here. Everybody's here. Everyone's joining us.
yeah,
Sonia
and
says
I
she's
got dressed
doing
for the
okay.
occasion
She's
and
joining us. That's
everything.
awesome. That's right.
This is my red carpet look.
Hey, your red carpet looks doing better than mine. My red carpet look happens to be an old running shirt. So I forgot my going to town clothes, guys. Sorry.
That's the rock and
Forgot
roll
about
look. So
You got
it
home
is
late.
still
I was gonna wear a bow tie, but I got home late.
it. Yeah. Well,
that's
all I need
cool.
is a blazer. Yeah, a blazer and a pair of white sneakers, and I'm Billy Joel, 1983. Right?
There you go.
But I was gonna
Pretty
say
much.
Kevin Smith gets away with it, so why can't you guys? So he wears a t-shirt and like a tuxedo jacket and shorts and tennis shoes. So
This is true. This is true.
thank
Yeah.
you, Sonia. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
I will.
Very nice.
I'll be better.
Very nice. All right. Well, guys, ready to roll out tonight here?
I am.
All right. Let's take a
Woo-hoo, let's go. Let's get
take a look
ready.
what we have going on
Look at
here
it
tonight.
go.
Quick little disclaimer tonight, just to let everyone know that everything that we're doing, watching, listening to, obviously all copyrighted. NBC Universal. We just do this just for fun, for a little bit of education, and I believe research purposes. Correct?
Right.
Correct.
We're
Research and
not
education.
monetizing this show.
That's exactly right. Yes, yes. So tonight we're going to be talking about Jaws and the Emmys, and I kind of almost look at this as Jaws versus the Emmys. Really, if you look at how things played out. So, and I don't remember a whole lot of this in 1976. I was,
We were
I
three.
don't know.
We were 3 years old.
3, 4 years old at the time. So,
Yes. We were
yeah.
3 when that came out with Oscars. So we
How are you
didn't
3?
see it all.
We weren't 3.
Well, Nate and I were.
We
We were toddlers.
We went to trivia the other night with Philip and some friends to do something for my son, grandson's school. It was Olympic category, and they asked a question. The answer was Mark Spitz. And I looked around the table. I said, "I just realized I'm the only one that was alive and watched the 1972 Olympics." And they're all like, "Oh, 1983. Oh, I was born 1984. Oh, good for you."
I teach with people that were born in the 90s now, and I'm going, "You gotta be kidding me. Come on. Seriously, guys?" Yeah. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Well, I was trying to watch some shows. Thank goodness they actually have a lot of the winners and things, like the video that was done. Someone has actually gone through and cataloged everything and put a site up and ring, so it kind of helped. And I was trying to jump in there because I knew that Shaw was kind of a guest host that night, so I was trying to find little clips of him there. And ironically, as I pulled up the very first clip of him, as they were panning away from the crowd, they went right past Zanuck and Brooke. And I mean, just for like a split second, I saw them. It took me 5 minutes to get that shot and make it look like you could see the damn thing. So.
Well, I want to quickly interrupt, and I want to point out that I was impressed that somebody posted a clip on back in the day of the streaker incident in '72.
Oh,
and they
last
quick
night.
Shot of this, and Janie picked out Lorraine Gary in the audience because everyone else, I was like, who? I don't know who he's talking about. So good for you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I saw that clip and I wasn't quite catching on as to what the reference was, but go back and really, really pay attention there.
Yep,
Yeah.
she was sitting in the audience at the time that had happened. So, yep,
very nice.
So there was Ellen Brody.
Was ribbed.
Yeah. Ribbed for her pleasure. Jaws was ribbed for her pleasure. It's also robbed. Yes.
You're lucky, guys. Mike and I still have fresh wounds from the incredible lack of intelligence on behalf of the nominating committee.
Wow.
That's right.
I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Only 4 nominations for Jaws. So wrong. And I think Steven was hoping to sweep like 11 different nominations.
So he's going to pull 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
11 out of 13.
Very nice. Somebody's chiming in here. I remember Rona Barrett's Oscar preview.
Oh yeah, Rona Barrett. She was
Rona Barrett, sorry.
Her magazines,
magazines, yeah.
Who hosted the most Oscars? Anyone know the answer? I have no clue.
I want to say Bob Hope.
Bob Hope, yeah.
Bob Hope. Okay.
I'm gonna guess Bob Hope or
I'm gonna say
the
Bob
Hope probably second. Yeah.
Okay.
And then probably Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Shows you how many of them I've watched, to be honest with you.
So
Out
I
to
don't
sea.
know. Okay, so Google Girl will go to it and find out.
All right. Well, in the meantime, how about
Question.
a quick little clip of Robert Shaw at the beginning of the '76 Oscars? Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
The Academy and ladies and gentlemen, I don't know which is really superior compliment. I have first to read a telegram from the eldest of my 9 children. That's Deborah Ann Shaw. She's 23 now. It reads, Darling Dad, as you are one of the last outposts of the British Empire, please behave yourself with dignity. And so, to use the immortal words of Gilbert and Sullivan, and pretty good words, really, with a sense of emotion and a tranquil state of mind, I present the first of my presenters. I recently saw a lovely film, The Other Side of the Mountain. And so you probably know who I'm talking about. The 2 film stars who are talented young people in the company of those players, Miss Marilyn Hassett, Mr. Beau Bridges.
Wow.
So there we go. Good old Robert Shaw.
Wow. So handsome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he was roughly just I don't know, just our age, maybe 2-3 years younger at the time.
Mhm.
Think about that.
Probably 50, down to 57, probably 54, 55. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
All righty.
Very nice.
So I have it. There it is. Yep.
Matching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bob Hope.
Ooh.
19 times. Very nice.
Yep. Bob Hope 19 times. Well, I got Johnny Carson was 5 and then Billy Crystal 9. So yeah, Bob Hope was the one who hosted it the most.
Ah,
Very nice.
good.
Very nice.
Good Jane facts.
We got someone else chiming in. Hi, Mike, Nate, and Janie. Hi, Joe's family. I'm not sure who that is. Is that Kelly? Is that who that is, Kelly?
Find out who it was.
Great. Good to hear from you, Kelly. Yeah. Very nice.
It is. Yeah, Kelly. Hey, babe.
Hello, hello.
Good to hear from you. Good to hear from you, Kel. Well.
Yep. Yeah. John. Bob Hope 19 times. David Letterman 1.
Okay.
Oprah. Uma. Oprah. Uma.
So yeah. No. Okay. So that was the end of that.
Have you guys caught any of David Letterman's show that's been on the last 2-3 years? I think it's on Netflix.
Where he looks around like, Grizzly Adams with the beard.
He looks like the Unabomber got out on parole. I mean, he sounds great, but yeah, I'm going. Dear God, come on, guy.
I'm sure that's somebody that wanted to grow a beard forever, and they wouldn't let him wear it on the air. So
because of work. That's exactly right. Yeah.
The first thing he did,
I mean, I did see a little bit of a clip of him. He was interviewing Billie Eilish, and I didn't know this, but she gets tics a lot. So he was interviewing, and all of a sudden she just kind of went and had a tick and was doing this. And are you okay? And he goes, oh yeah, I have tics. And that's how I found out about it. It just happened during the middle of the interview, and it happens whenever she gets nervous. So if you ever see her on these award shows, like we're probably going to see on Sunday night, that's why she's so quick with her responses, because it just triggers it.
Oh
wow. Very interesting. And he's got a place out in the Vineyard too.
I think
one of the yeah. Last time I was out, we actually I forget who, I can't remember if it was Don or somebody told me, and we were actually out in that direction and saw the very vast property. I want to say it was an old farm, quite a bit of acreage.
We for No Fest, where we stayed, the compound we stayed in, we were near the Letterman compound, but nobody dared to go near it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think that's Burt Bacharach and Angie Dickinson sitting behind.
Sitting behind them.
Zanigan Brown, yeah.
What the world needs now.
Well, how about some other Jaws people that showed up there? A couple award-winning Jaws people that actually showed up there.
There it is.
Yeah, we got the Mother Cutter there in the front.
Mother
That's not
Cutter.
there. Right.
If I ever, Michael Smith, if I ever get into acting and they said, "What do I want to play this lady right here?"
Verna Fields.
Verna
I would play
Fields. There
Verna.
you go.
I would
I mean,
totally do it.
it would be a great story. I mean, started out and
Absolutely.
became a film editor, became a vice president, wielded a lot of power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mother Cutter. I love it. Yes. So do we. Yeah. Her son was pretty involved there for a while too. In fact, he helped work on Jaws, didn't he?
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah.
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 Because Rick, when we lived stayed at the Spielberg camp, and I had the loft, and that's where Rick Fields stayed. And when Carl Gottlieb came by, he went upstairs to the loft and he called Rick Fields. He goes, "Rick, guess where I am?" Oh yeah.
And Verna did her work in a pool house, I believe. She did. As a matter of fact, the Ben Gardner scene was shot in her pool. And if I remember, they used milk to dinge up the water. They were dumping a couple gallons of milk in there.
I think milk, and wasn't it like really fine up cut pieces of aluminum foil to make it look like silt?
Like silt, yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
And then when in the Shark Is Still Working, they go to her house. I mean, she's long since gone, but she left one of her moviolas, one of her editing machines, and a bunch of empty film cans with film in it still
at the pool. In the pool.
Jaws there too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth some money.
Yep.
Well, how about a quick little shot of Verna Fields while we're talking about her? What do you say, guys?
Yeah.
All right, we'll pull up with just a couple seconds of her acceptance speech here.
First, I want to say that giving me this, I consider a great tribute to our wonderful, fabulous, talented director, Steven Spielberg. I would also like to say that being here at this time, after all these years, I really have a long list of thank yous, which I won't bother you with. But I hope everybody on that list, primarily my two sons, I say thank you.
Yeah, class act.
And that's always the thing when the director, people feel he should be nominated. They always make sure they point out the director. And so yeah, I'm glad she did, because a lot of that, a lot of the success of that film really goes to her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Putting together those scenes the way she did to make them work, and
correct.
A lot of the shark footage as well. When you look at the test footage of the shark, it's kind of the way Dreyfuss described it. He would come up out of the water and would kind of back and forth, And that first shot when the shark comes out of the water, the back of the boat, it's quick glimpse. Like it's up, shake, and it's gone. And so yeah.
It's amazing that the skill and in that job. A couple of years ago, John Hancock and Dorothy Tristan, they came to town to screen one of John's films, and they brought their editor with them, Dennis O'Connor, who did a lot of films like UHF, the Weird Al film. And afterwards, I was like the chauffeur driving around in my car, driving them back to the hotel, and they were in the back seat. And it was like going to film school, because John would say, "Okay, this scene here, what do you think? I think it was a beat too long. Should we take 3 frames out of that?" And it's like, I'm like, I never, and then I saw the film again later, and knowing where they were talking about, and it, I wouldn't have known the difference either way if they hadn't made the changes, but knowing that they did, going, oh, okay, that makes sense, because it's a little more direct, what they're trying to get across. So yeah. Film editors, it's a lot more than just gluing pieces of film together
and cutting it. Absolutely, they really know how to put those frames together for that story to flow.
Yeah.
And just in order to visualize their perception of how they want it viewed and the tones they want to take across, man, it's not like you can put words down, and convey that. So yeah, you're right, to do that visually. Yeah, that's why not everyone does it,
Correct.
So, yeah, very cool. Got a comment or two in here. Yep, she was appointed vice president at Universal Pictures in '77. She died in '82 at the age of 64. And I think that's why they didn't have her do any work on Jaws 2. Weren't they worried, a little concerned about vice president getting involved in that?
There was, remember the movie Outlaw Josie Wales?
Yeah.
Philip Kaufman originally was going to direct that, and then he got fired, and Eastwood took over. And they, the DGA came up with what they call the Eastwood rule. That means if you are on the film when the director gets fired, nobody that's on that project can take over the film. So, because they wanted, they thought Vernon could do it. They thought Joe Alves could do it, but because of the Rooney Rule, they couldn't. They were banned from it. Because
so why did they make that rule then? Why? I mean, what was the issue? I'm not familiar.
Because Eastwood was already a director, and
Right.
Philip Kaufman complained, and it's bad. I mean, Eastwood's a great director. It's not like
Right.
he's a one-shot guy, but he would share his ideas with Philip Kaufman, and his vision for the film is different than what Philip Kaufman had. And of course, if you're Warner Brothers, you want to be in business with Clint Eastwood or Phil Kaufman. So they fired him and then made Eastwood the director. So they made that rule so that couldn't happen again. So if you want to fire the director, that's fine, but nobody else working on that film can take over.
So more of like a conflict of interest kind of avoidance, I would assume.
Exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah. All right. Another comment or two here. Janie, are you going to the awards? You look gorgeous. Are you going, Janie? Did you get tickets?
Yes, I'm traveling very far from my kitchen to my bedroom in the finest pajamas I have, baby girl. And I don't have any Jaws pajamas, which I find very funny, but I do have some Harry Potter, so I'll probably wear those, and that's about as Hollywood as it's going to get. But I got it on tonight just for everybody, so there you go. I wish I could. I would love to go. I would love to go just to see the stars walk by and be there and all the hoopla. That's my one thing I'd like to do. It's on my bucket list.
I voted once.
You did?
Really?
A friend of mine was a publicist, and he had his ballot. It was a Year American Beauty one, and he didn't want to fill it out. He didn't want to fill it out. He goes, "Here, knock yourself out." So yeah.
Well, if anybody's listening, I'll get on a plane.
Thanks. Me too. I used to, when I moved out to Kansas City, I did marketing for a theater chain. And while I was there, every year we would host our biggest theater. We would show the Oscars on the big screen, and we had it catered, and we had entertainment. We had people like doing the 5 songs before. We would raise thousands of dollars. It was for a charity that one of my managers, his son had MS. So every year we would raise money for that, and it was fun. I mean, just people showing up, running tuxes, just coming to a movie theater, but to get the whole, it's he had the experience on a smaller scale, but yeah. It's fun.
There's a lot of Oscar parties like that will do for fundraisers, and people come out and they'll have like the red carpet, and you come in tuxedos and dresses, and you'll watch the show, and then they'll have like a nice dinner, and then it all goes to a charity, and it's pretty fun. But I don't think they do it that much anymore.
And if you're going to do it, remember you can't charge for the broadcast.
Correct.
You charge for everything else. The broadcast is free. If anybody wants to come in and watch it, you got to let them.
Yep.
What a great group of people to try and have a fundraiser in the words of Bruce Wayne. Once you have a party with my people, you won't need to have any more. Right? All right.
Can you imagine a party with me? We're done. We're done. They'll pay not to come and see me. So,
All right, 1 or 2 more here comments here. We'll kind of move along. So, Vernon Fields co-edited American Graffiti. Someone's getting a fact on that one. I was not aware of that one.
Lucas, with George Lucas.
Victor is bringing it to the table tonight.
Well, I'll say I think he's got another one up here. She worked with Peter Bogdanovich before Jaws. Very nice.
Paper Moon.
Yeah, someone else jumped in there. Yep, co-edited Graffiti and also had a hand in one of my favorite comedies of all time. What's Up Doc?
Oh, that's a good one with Barbara Streisand. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
Doc?
very cool.
Great
All right,
movie.
well,
Mm-hmm.
kinda,
So what else you got for us?
well, talk about, and we hit on, since we're talking about, what Jaws earned and what they got. So some of the areas that I believe that Steven himself was actually hoping for. I didn't prepare to speak. That's pretty good, Davey. And where they actually ended up winning. So no best picture, no best director, no best leading actors at all, which you think of above all, at least Shaw would have had a shot at, might have gotten that. But they did get the best music score, obviously, there. Best film editing, which we just got done talking about. And then the best sound mixing, which I didn't realize that was even an award then. I thought maybe that was a little bit newer. Same with, like, not to say special effects, because that was a thing back then, but I feel like they're giving more credit now to what goes on behind the scenes than what they used to. Does that sound right?
Yeah, now it's sound effects, it's editing, it's
Mhm.
there's a couple different sound categories. Because back then, like I said, there were 13, and I did a piece. You can go back to April of last year on the Daily Jaws, and I wrote a piece of the 11 categories I thought Spielberg thought they would get nominated in.
Mhm.
And yeah, because special effects, that wasn't even a category then.
Right.
But I had picture director, Shaw for actor, Dreyfuss for supporting actor, Lorraine Gary for supporting actress. Obviously, the three technical ones there, cinematography. Bob Butler invented that water box. That photography was beautiful on that film. I don't know why it wasn't nominated. Or adapted screenplay. So there was a lot of stuff that they Spielberg felt they should have got, and they should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had said in the article regarding Lorraine Gary, Mike. Ironically, as I was trying to find out some information, Lorraine Gary was actually up for Best Actress on, of all movies, Jaws: The Revenge. It was for the Saturn Awards, which I think is more based on science and
Science
science
fiction.
fiction.
Yeah.
And she was up for that, and ironically, the person who ended up winning, well, the actor who ended up winning for that happened to be the same actor that pretty much swept the 1976 Oscars, and that was Jack himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, for
yeah,
Cuckoo's Nest, yeah.
yeah. He won for, and I can't remember what movie. I think it was, what was the movie he did with the three witches?
Oh, Witches of Eastwick. Yeah.
Oh,
Witches
which
of
is
Eastwick. I believe that's what he actually ended up winning for. So I just thought it was kind of ironic that 1976, he really was the one that took a lot of these things home, and he came back around, to steal what little thunder was left, from Jaws: The Revenge, from
So
Lorraine Gary.
I do believe Jaws Revenge did sweep the Golden Raspberries. So
The Razzies it did.
yeah.
In fact, we're going to hit on that
Yeah,
a
the
little bit.
Razzies,
Okay?
definitely.
It did hit the Razzies. Yes, that topic might come up tonight. I do have a clip or two for the other two that they won. You guys want me to pop those up real quick?
Yeah. I'm game.
All right. So here we go.
David Brown, thank you
Bring up
both
our
for giving me
friend,
the opportunity to work with an extraordinary man, Steven Spielberg. The great Universal Orchestra and my friend Herb Spencer, thank you, and all of the members of this Academy for giving me this honor. I'm a grateful man. Thank you very much.
And yet, such a grounded gentleman. And I apologize for the short clips. That's due to the background music. I don't want to cause any issues with the show here tonight, guys. So sorry if they seem short and choppy. I'm simply just trying to keep us kind of going here. But
well, it's funny because John Williams was conducting the orchestra that night at the Oscars, so he had to climb out of the pit to go get his award, then he go back in and conduct. So yeah,
and get back to work.
Yeah, no rest, no rest for the weary.
That reminds me of the wedding scene in Spaceballs. Do you? Yes. Do you? Yes. Good. You're married. Kiss her. Get back to work.
That's That's right. We got a job to do, guys.
We got a job to do. Go.
Yeah. And then the was it 3 or 4 guys that ended up picking up the awards for the best sound mixing, and ironically, the award was given by Scheider himself, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the never to be heard from again, Margot Hemingway.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the real shame of that is I was watching that clip, and I don't know if it was just the film at the time. I don't know if it was the lighting, but it really kind of pronounced it, like the makeup and stuff that she had it on. Like her eyes look almost dark and kind of sunken in. She almost looked sickly, and it wasn't that she was sickly or an unattractive person at all, but it was just the lighting and things just did not do her any justice whatsoever. I mean, it really was very kind of striking.
Yeah, makeup artistry has come a long, long way since the 1970s and the blue eyeshadow. It's more airbrushed nowadays and powdered on or what. So it's a lot more. And hello, McFly, but yeah, not as what it was back then.
Yeah, yep. 3 shout-outs there to John Williams. Yeah, incredible. So I still love the video. I wish we weren't hindered by the lack of music. I would have loved to have played the video where they show the clip of the movie Jaws without the music in the scene, in the chase scene, and then when they bring it in and play it, and it's 2 totally different worlds. It really is.
Yeah.
Here's a question: how did Jaws do at the Golden Globes? Is it a precursor to the
that's a
Oscars?
good question.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that.
It had more nominations. Cuckoo's Nest swept everything that year. It was just a juggernaut, because that and Barry Lyndon. I mean, it was a great year. I mean, that Barry Lyndon, Nashville. What was the other film? Dog Day Afternoon. Yeah,
Dog Day Afternoon.
Perfect. You didn't even need me. Yeah. So yeah, it was just they're great. It was great. It's not like the last few years, especially during the COVID time, where there were films that I'd never heard of, and I'm a film critic. It's like, what?
Sure.
Hey, you got nominated for what? Yeah. But the 70s, I've always said the 70s is like one of the best decades ever for film anyway. But I think Joe got a screenplay. I think I got a screenplay nomination at the Golden Globes. I know Dreyfuss got a BAFTA nomination. So it did a little better.
Well, I know we often think about, it was poor judgment, the fact that, so much of this film ended up not getting credited for it. But, looking through some of these films and things and some of the reviews that I've read, the afterthought that really it was such an incredible year for movies. They said it was probably one of the most killer years to have these caliber of movies all running against each other the same year. That really was just came down to just incredibly stiff competition.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, so it got kind of it got lost in the mix of all these, because this was the era of Lucas, and just American Graffiti, Spielberg,
Scorsese.
Kubrick, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
It was the same the next year when Rocky won. It was up against Network and All the President's Men and Bound for Glory. It's just, this is a great decade for films.
Mm-hmm. Very big power of titles, unlike what I feel is now. It's like when you hit, like you say Network, that was a good, dramatic movie, and now I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's all Barbie.
People were on the whole, what was it, the Barbie Oppenheimer thing? I've watched Oppenheimer and I liked it. I really get into like the period things. I thought it was done really well. I cannot bring myself to watch Barbie. I'm sorry. I don't care.
We watched it. It's okay. It's fun. It's fun, but I don't. There's a message. And it's a good message, but But to complain that Hollywood is sexist because Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for director. Well, you know what? Now you got 10 movies up for director or up for best picture. You only got 5 directors. So there's 5 people that didn't get nominated. So get off your high horse.
I bet no one watched it in '75. Well, here it is. Wait. I'm sorry. That's a follow-up. What movie did Fellini direct?
Fellini. That's right, because he said he got beat out by Fellini as best director that year.
Was it 8.5?
Was that
No.
Nashville?
No, that's Robert Altman. Robert
Oh, was
Altman,
it?
Milos Forman, Sidney Lumet, from left to right. I think it was 8.5.
Don't know. I'd have to look that one
Or
up.
Amicord.
No.
But yeah.
No. And Nashville. I mean, I've never even seen it. Was it a good film?
It's a great film.
I've never watched it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just a bunch of people in Nashville. But Robert Altman, he's great with actors.
Yeah.
Cuckoo's Nest, Odd Afternoon. Yeah. Even Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon was kind of long, but it was a great movie.
Yeah, Dog Day Afternoon was a phenomenal movie too. It really was. It took a little bit of a beating here and there, but overall, it's just an incredible movie.
It went downhill after Gary Springer went off the screen. I got to say that.
First 5 minutes, right?
And there's a great documentary called The Dog about the character that Pacino plays, because he actually applied after he got out of prison. He applied for a job as a security guard at that bank. He didn't get it, but now he stands outside that bank and sells autographed pictures wearing a T-shirt that says, "I robbed this bank." So yeah. So if people tell you bank robbery doesn't pay, it does.
It does. We got a comment here. Dreyfuss and nothing for Shaw. Well, Dreyfuss didn't win for Jaws. Dreyfuss won for was it Close Encounters or was it
Goodbye Girl?
The Goodbye Girl.
Oh, Goodbye Girl. That's right. Yeah. You know what? Wow. Can't believe we can't remember this. I happen to have a clip of Mr. Dreyfuss winning his, and good old Rocky himself gave him the award here. So we'll pull that up here. Should be holding your sign,
Am I
Jenny.
here? Yes, okay. First, I will embarrass Ray Stark by saying that I owe him everything. And he is a great man. To Herb Ross, who is the only true gentleman I've ever known in my life. To Herb, Marcia, and Neil, and Quinn. I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to leave. Can I rent this now? Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No, it's funny. I asked him, I said, "Did you think you were going to win?" He says, when the nominations came out, he goes, "I knew I was going to win." And I was like,
Really?
you're up against Richard Burton, and Travolta, but he said he knew, and I said, even when Stallone said Richard, you didn't think for a second he was going to say Burton. He goes, "No."
Wow.
Unbelievable.
All that just so he can get the panties off the shower line. That's what got him the Oscar.
Funny guy and an amazing actor. Youngest winner for the best actor at age 30. Wow, someone's getting a fact out there. That's pretty good.
That's not Janie, so it's
Adrian
gotta be
Brody.
Victor.
Until Adrian Brody and the Pianist. And I like to say Adrian Brody beat him by a nose.
That was one of the most depressing movies I think I ever. Listen, I went to see that when it came out, and right off the bat when he pushed the piano over and ties herself up, I'm going, my God, this is only going to get better. It never gets any better. The tragedies just continue. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Unbelievable. Laugh out loud. Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Next up. All right. So that was, as far as the awards went, that was about it. But
That
I
was
do
it.
have, I've got some other short clips here. I thought we'd just throw them in while we're on the subject. So how about a couple Scheider clips? Sound good to you guys? Got some nominee clips here for Scheider. So let's pull him up, give him his day.
Bob or two or a shilling on a sporting event.
I got to say, ironically, look who's presenting here. Am I right? From Orca,
Richard Harris.
Richard
Richard
Harris.
Harris
And is that
himself.
Sally Keller?
Probably not
Is
too
that
far
Sally
from
Keller?
that.
I like the long shots.
I think so.
But I can't think of a bookie who might have taken my bet on what is going to happen here tonight.
What Mr. Harris is trying to tell you is that never before have all 5 nominees for the
Oh,
Best
Sally
Supporting
Keller,
Actor
right
been
there.
nominated for the very first time.
And those gentlemen are
Jeff Bridges in The Last Picture Show,
Leonard Fry in Fiddler on the Roof,
Richard Jekyll in Sometimes a Great Notion,
Ben Jonson in The Last Picture Show.
and Roy Scheider in The French Connection.
And the winner is Sally.
Ben Johnson in The Last Picture Show.
Practically everybody.
I like Roy with that. I'm so glad he won. Look,
He had a look on his face like I'm not getting it in the first place. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He was kind of like, I'm not even going to entertain this. Unfortunately.
Yeah, he already knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, after the next clip, I'll tell you what Roy told me about the Oscars.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Let me see it. Hopefully I got the right one here. Here we go.
If there is a sort of everyman among these actors, it is he. His film roles have been earthy, accessible, vulnerable, imperfect men, but clearly and recognizably human beings all. His films have included Klute, The French Connection, Jaws, The Sorcerer, and tonight he is nominated for his role in All That Jazz.
He was your pimp, Jane. He was your pimp.
He wasn't on.
So Hoffman wins, and what I always made me dislike Dustin Hoffman for a long time is he says, "I can't believe I beat Jack Lemmon. I can't believe I beat Peter Sellers," but he never says, "I can't believe I beat Roy Scheider." And I'm like, you think you're better than him? But before the Oscars, before the 79 Oscars, I asked Roy about it, and he said that he knew Ben Johnson would win because he paid his dues, and he says that's why Dustin's going to win because he's paid his dues. So
it was less about the picture and more the fact that
More
it was
about-
trying to get his
yeah.
comeuppance at that point. Interesting. Wow.
Wow.
So I can't see Dustin Hoffman singing and dancing.
No. No, we're running from or fighting a shark either, but that's just me. Anyway. He had enough trouble with an ex-wife for that movie, so
The Pianist is about a pianist in
I'm
Poland.
not going to tell you anymore. Yep, you got to go and you just got to pay up on that one. You got to find that one out for yourself.
But wasn't it placed in World War II? Is that correct? Or
Yes, Poland.
Yes.
I'll give you a clue. Nazis are bad. So,
Yeah.
Yes, very much. We got Roy Scheider and Robert Shaw were robbed in the 1970s. Yeah.
Well, and I mentioned this in my article. Shaw wasn't nominated, but Maximilian Schell was nominated that year for The Man in the Glass Booth, which was based on a play that Robert Shaw wrote. So I always thought it was funny that guy playing a role he wrote beat him out for Best Actor.
When I had read that, Mike, I was trying to kind of look up and find, at least a piece of footage on Shaw outside of him here in the 76. And, I was getting conflicting information. Some were saying that he was nominated. And then some were saying he wasn't nominated. And some were saying they thought he was nominated for, oh gosh, what movie? It was one of his earlier films, in fact.
Well, he was nominated for A Man for All Seasons.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he didn't win though. Walter Matthau won that year.
Okay. Yeah. So it was kind of back and forth on information. I thought, well, I'm not even going to bother, until
He should have been nominated for The Sting. So
Yeah, he was great in this thing. Yeah, I just started watching it again about 2 weeks ago. I'm about half an hour into it. It came up on Netflix. I think is playing it right now. So yeah, I got to go back and finish that off.
Have you never seen it?
Oh, I've seen it, but I haven't. Last time I saw it, I watched it on HBO in like the 80s. You know what I mean? It's been oftentimes we do these shows and we'll talk about something maybe not as much here as we do in the other show. And I go back and I deep dive. Like I went back and watched all the Smokey and the Bandit movies in the last couple of weeks. And last week I watched the what was the one that you guys told me to watch with Jerry Reed? Hot Shot?
Hot stuff.
Hot. I went and watched that one last
You
week.
did watch it.
That I never saw before. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, that was fun.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Can you trust our judgment? Did you like it?
I thought it was a good film. I thought it had some good funny parts. It was kind of the whole undercover police thing, kind of running a front and running a sting, and then next thing you know, Don DeLuise is getting high with some potential clients and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good.
But I was
enjoyed
right.
it.
That was his real family in that movie, and then what I didn't realize at the time, he directed it.
Oh wow! Yeah.
So yeah, nepotism, but still, I didn't realize that. So, oh my God, him and the Moose getting high, I crack up every time. and Ossie Davis, where they play the theme song from what is it, 2001, and there's the chicken on top of the Moose. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd hum more, but I don't want us to get canceled here.
Yeah, we don't want to. Yeah.
And he and Burt Reynolds have that super high pitched squeaky laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, gets me like every time.
I used to be able to do it. Now my voice cracks.
Couldn't do it if I tried. There's no way, man. I'm way too many
Burt Reynolds
registers below
for
that.
Brady.
Yeah. So here's a question: has there ever been any other shark movie nominated for an Oscar? I highly doubt, but I don't know the answer, so I cannot answer that truthfully.
For like a real award, or like a technical
Like a
award.
rat?
I'm sure there's probably some technical stuff out there. Like I think Deep Blue Sea was for the special effects.
Well, I was
Okay.
thinking the Shallows for special effects.
I would think those would be the two most creditable ones. Yeah.
Probably the two for special effects. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see anything for Jaws 2 in my research. No.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here? Mike, will you be reviewing Bleecker Street? I can't wait to see it.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I haven't even seen anything on
They really cut down on screenings for some reason. Film companies, studios don't recognize the state of Missouri, even though Kansas City has the most movie theaters per popula in the country. Yeah, St. Louis and Kansas City, we get left out of a lot of screenings. I mean, we just had last week, was it Drive-Away or whatever, Drive-Away Babes, the Coen brother, one of the Coen brothers, his movie. They didn't screen that. They didn't screen that. How do you not screen a movie for critics made by one of the Coen brothers? Yeah. So
unbelievable. What we got here? I love Don DeLuise. If you haven't, please take the time to watch him in The End with Burt Reynolds. Is that the one where he wanted to kill himself, try to drown himself at the end?
Oh, yeah.
That's another one. I haven't watched that film in like 30 years. But yes. I remember that.
He goes, he called me a fat Pollock, and I say, well, kids are cruel. He goes, I'm talking about my father. Yes. Yes. And then he yells, that man's nuts. Grab him. Yeah. I love it. I love The End. Robbie Benson. Yeah. That's got to be Matt. We went and saw The End like 10 times. Yeah.
It is Matt.
Incredible stuff. All right. Well, before we kind of not change gears, but maybe stray away from the Oscars, I thought it would be only fitting if we show the bulk of the clip of Steven Spielberg so graciously being filmed, waiting to win some Oscars. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, but
Yeah.
it's a great clip. I'm going to pull that up for us here, and we're going to throw that up. So here we go, guys.
And I just directed a movie called Jaws, and Jaws is about to be nominated in 11 categories. You're about to see a sweep of the nominations. We're very confident at this very moment, and so if you all have a seat, we'll get on with it.
It's humming this morning with expectation. They just passed out the material that they have, and I think we got some surprises for you today and a lot of excitement.
Carol, can everybody in this room have coffee with the exception of myself who would like a cup of tea? Hey, who has the envelope? We're ready. Do you have the envelope? What show is it going to come on?
Joe Spinell.
For the best achievement in
He's
direction,
hilarious.
Federico Fellini for Amarcord,
Amarcord.
New World Pictures. Stanley Kubrick for Barry Lyndon, Warner Brothers. Sidney Lumet for Dog Day Afternoon, Warner Brothers. Robert Altman for Nashville, Paramount. And Milos Forman.
Oh, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I wasn't nominated. I got beaten out by Fellini.
That's first of all,
Fellini.
I can't.
Wait a second. We have the Shark was an actress.
Barry Lyndon, Warner Stanley Kubrick, producer. Dog Day Afternoon, Warner Brothers. Martin Bregman, Martin Elfman, producer. Jaws.
Well, it's about time.
I have something to say about this.
Nashville?
United Arts, Solar Thing, and Michael Douglas, producer.
I have it, Regis. Interesting.
I have something to say. I have a lot to say. First of all, being in
These are my spokesmen.
First of all, being in the first Godfather, I have this to say. The Godfather was nominated for the Best Picture and won, but the director, Bob Fosse of Cabaret, won. That's bullshit. You cannot have the Best Picture unless the director is also nominated. Who made the picture? Somebody's mother? The director. This man made yours. Are you kidding? Who's kidding who around here?
This is a dark day in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Shining. This is a very
This is a dark day for our
The
pal.
greatest picture of all time was made, and they haven't recognized the
The director. Who made it? The Shark? It's a matter of logic.
Shark?
He made the Best Picture.
All right. Enough.
That's it.
I'm suffering enough.
All right, we're suffering with you.
Suffering.
We're suffering.
Cancel my day.
Right, we're getting drunk.
Cancel my week.
Right. That's
I'm
what
going
lost
to
weekend.
Palm Springs.
He's so funny.
Right.
What? Only for what?
Best picture, best editing, best score, and sound. And
That's it?
We need
Best screenplay? Not even special effects? This is called commercial backlash.
Right.
I don't know if anybody knows the word commercial backlash, but when a film makes a lot of money, people resent it. Everybody
I do.
Everybody loves a winner, but nobody loves a winner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Ugh.
How about that?
Poor guy.
Yeah.
So you know what happened the next day, right? You know the next day that Rocky Balboa showed up in his '78 Trans Am and was busting some heads after work, right? After his workout at the gym, right?
Yeah. You better be breaking some thumbs. Better be breaking some thumbs.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it was, but he said it perfectly. It was a backlash. It made too much money.
Yeah.
Look at the Dark Knight. That was a great movie. That didn't get nominated. That's why we have 10 categories in the motion picture, best picture category. Now that's why we have 10 films, because there was such an uproar about the Dark Knight not getting nominated. And I love Joe Spinell, and I'd love to find that shirt. I love that shirt he's wearing.
Yeah.
But he was a friend of Spielberg's for a long time, and actually Spielberg wanted him for one of the men on the dock when they're shooting the dock.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that entire clip is available on the Maniac DVD. It's from a documentary about Joe Spinell, and an edited version of that clip is in The Shark Is Still Working.
Working. Yeah, it is. You're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good clip. But yeah. What? What his mother make the picture?
Who
That's
directed
why it
it?
wasn't in the film. Oh, the Jewish boy from New York. Yeah.
The Shock make it?
They're like, sorry, you just don't sound New England enough. We can't have you on it. You know? That's hilarious. Yeah, he gets quite bent out of shape. And who was the other guy that was with him?
I don't know. I've never
don't
seen
know
him
either.
identified.
I was trying to figure that out. I didn't recognize him, but it doesn't mean a whole lot for me. But yeah, I had no idea who that was. So, a couple comments here. We got poor Steven. Why did you do that? Ouch. Yes, this was so painful to watch. It really was. You know, when he's sitting there, he goes, you know, and you know, he's thinking to himself,
he knows he's on television. He knows he's being filmed, and he was so cocky. And it just had because and the shark is broken, or the shark is still working. Spielberg gave some editing, not instructions, but suggestions to Eric and Jake and who's the other producer? Eric. And one of them was cut it off after I didn't get it. So you don't hear him say, because he sounds, Federico Fellini was a great director. So he sounds very petty when he says, "Oh, they went for Fellini instead of me." So he cut that out. But, he made up for it. He
was young and cocky at that time. That's what he said. I was young and stupid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But would it have turned out the same way? No. If he was smart, no. And I can understand with all the frustrations and everything that had happened on that island with the shark not working, the rewrites of the script and all that, I can understand the frustration. I can see that.
No,
and
sure.
Yeah. What? No, what? Are you serious?
Someone said, yeah.
That's probably a Victor. That's awesome.
That's a fact.
I don't want it now. Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Oh.
And we have
Joseph Mail, also the highest paid actor on The Godfather. He made the most money.
Really?
Coppola kept him around. He thought he was a good lecture arm. So, because he's only in a couple scenes.
I know it's not much.
Mostly at the end, but he had him on the set every day. He got paid every day.
I never would have thought that in a million years. I mean, but those guys were still fairly young, De Niro and those guys. So you'd think some of them were seasoned actors definitely would have made more money, even though they had a big of a role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Spielberg said Jaws was his Vietnam. I'm sure it was.
Right, and that's my point, because it was so traumatic for him. That's why he would go on the back of Universal and just go on the back of the Orca, even when the tour would go by, just to get away. It was like his therapy, he said. And when they took it out of that water and destroyed it, it was, traumatic. Why'd you do that? Didn't you ask me?
Sure.
And he mentioned special effects. Back then, they would give honorary awards, and the honorary award that year went to the Hindenburg, which was basically a model of the Hindenburg burning up. That was the best special effect. And then the next year, it was Rick Baker in a monkey suit in King Kong. So yeah.
People don't like it when other people look outside the box and come up with something a little bit more inventive. It's not the norm. And when they did those special effects, even though the shark didn't work, you still had the barrel, you had them blowing up, you had, the mouth working and everything. They don't want to see that. It's almost kind of like today. No, we don't want to. It's not black or white. He went gray. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it was a pure genius move for him, and they didn't like it. That's not what they were used to. The new kid in town, basically.
Yeah, interesting comment regarding Michael Douglas and his support for Spielberg, even though he was tied to obviously One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, he produced Cuckoo's Nest.
He did.
He produced it, and I want to say, was it him or was it his father that was supposed to be originally in the movie? That they tried the movie. I guess they've gone rounds and rounds. They tried to make One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. At least I read this for something like 12 years. It was in the making.
Yeah, he played McMurphy in the play. Kirk Douglas did, and he bought the film rights, but they could never, because if I remember right, the book is told through, I think it's told through Billy Bibbitt's point of view, but now it's Chief. Chief is doing it's his point of view, and it was easier to open up. I guess open up the play that way. But yeah, he ended up just selling the rights to Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas wanted to get into producing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to kind of shift focus a little bit. Razzies have come up, and I thought, why not see what has won it? And so we do have some Razzie awards here, and obviously they were for Jaws: The Revenge. One looks like it pretty much swept that year, 1988.
Okay.
Yeah. Ironically, so worst picture, worst actor, worst actress, worst visual effects. What else do we have? Worst screenplay, worst director, and worst supporting actor. So it was just, at least they were consistent, I guess.
When somewhere there's Joe Sargent going, we're gonna sweep the Razzies. We're gonna bring down 11 nominations.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I want to see? I want to actually see an award show with the worst movies and see who wins.
Like the worst, like Razzies of all time, maybe?
Absolutely. The worst films of that year. Let's do a show.
Of 88? Or of 87? 87? Yeah.
Of any year. I mean, like, what were the worst movies this year? We'll put them in categories. And
Barbie. No.
Maybe we should try and find a stellar. So 76 apparently was a stellar year for excellent film.Maybe we should try and find that one year that it was like really hard to pick out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But wouldn't it be funny to just watch that on a night on a award show season and go, okay, well, we've had the best. Now here's the worst. So
yeah,
I'll just laugh my ass off.
When are we gonna do that horrible movie you showed me? You showed me.
You know what? As soon as I can figure out, as soon as I can make heads or tails that we don't have to be worried about getting in trouble with anyone, I am completely on board. I just don't know where to look to get.
If it's free on YouTube, I would think there wouldn't be an issue.
It's free, but from what I'm understanding, or from what I can't get a straight answer. If we're broadcasting, watching the film live and commenting on it, that could be a copyright issue. But I don't know. To be honest with you, is what it comes down to. I keep looking and running into dead ends. So I get basically I'm researching it where other people have come up with this idea, basically fans of the Science Theater, 3000, and that want to try and do it or emulate it and get, oh yeah, it's perfectly fine, no problem. And then the next thing is, oh no, people have been sued over this before, and I don't know who to talk to get a real answer. Basically, is what it goes down to. I want to do it. I'm dying to do it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I just don't know if are we good to go with it?
A big Zoom like Martin does, Amy Jaws Group, and not make it a show. I mean, not record it and put it on the site, but
just show the film and then just have live comments, perhaps.
Yeah, just run the film on Zoom with everybody else watching it and having fun.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We'll talk about it. So here we go. Having a couple what ifs. So what if? So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. 12 years to get this film made. What if it didn't come out in 75? What if it came out 2 years later? Do you think that that Spielberg would have swept a couple more, or no? Or do you think the backlash was enough that people, even though they deemed the movie wonderful, they didn't deem it to be something that would hold up with time? What do you guys think?
I still don't think he would have been nominated because it's the Directors Guild that nominates. It's the Directors Branch. So for the nominations, only directors pick the nominees. So all the other directors that were jealous of him or thought he was being cocky, whatever, they wanted to teach him a lesson. Everybody votes for Best Picture for the nominees. So everybody loved Jaws. So I'm sure Jaws still would have been nominated. I don't know if he would have been directed. And I also think that Nashville probably would have won Best Picture.
Okay.
just because once again Jaws made too much money.
A little too much, right? Yeah, that's interesting. So almost like a little bit of like the Good Old Boys kind of club, kind of weighing in on how they felt towards Spielberg.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. You wouldn't think politics would play that far into it, but it does.
Well, it's just like I met Sidney Pollack at a screening of They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And we were talking about Spielberg, and it was after E.T. and he didn't win, of course. And but Sidney Pollack was nominated for Tootsie. We were talking. I said, "What does Steven Spielberg have to do to get an Oscar?" And he said, "People have to take him seriously." So then he did The Color Purple, and then he didn't even get nominated.
That was a double-edged sword. It was like, well, damned if you do and damned if you don't, because they didn't think that a white Jewish man should be talking about African American culture and certain issues, but yet Alice Walker was fine with it, and she was the author of the book.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you have a problem? Why would a white man be talking about this? And she's like, well, wait a minute, I'm married to a white man, so what gives you that right? And the Oscars just totally, snubbed him for it. And it's a great film. It's such a powerful film.
Really is. Yeah.
It really is. And they just did it because it's to me, it was racism the other way around. Right. It really was.
So do you think the actors in Jaws had any impact as well, or the bearing on it? So here you had one person who was a reluctant, incredible actor, but reluctantly did the film. You had a young up and comer who I think wasn't quite sure how things were going to go. Made a couple public comments that weren't very good towards the film. And you had, Scheider, who I truly think was grossly underrated as an actor the majority of his career. Do you think that had any weight on the film with these guys as well?
It could have. I know Johnny Carson was very outspoken after the nominations. He was just amazed that nobody in the cast got nominated. And, once again, and a lot of people probably didn't look at Jaws as an actor's picture. It was the shark. People were going to see the shark.
Yeah.
They weren't going for the story. They weren't going for, the actors. So, it's just, that's why for up until recently, Sigourney Weaver was the only person ever nominated for a science fiction film.
Alien.
For actress. For actress. For Alien. Or for Aliens.
Aliens.
Alien. Alec Guinness was nominated for Star Wars, but it was Alec Guinness. So, yeah.
So I did stumble across, there was one last thing I wanted to shoot up here. We're rounding out the hour. Before we do, I did stumble across one really interesting thing that I did not know. And I think in large, the Jaws community probably isn't aware of this fact, that there was actually another actor who was considered and even did some screen tests and a couple shots with him, and it never came to fruition. And I think if this guy would have been in the movie, maybe it could have turned some tides a little bit. Maybe you guys are familiar with, maybe you're not. You guys remember seeing these?
Beaker is like the Marlon Brando of Muppets.
Yeah, very well spoken, right?
Because he doesn't say a lot, but it's the inflection. Because me, what does that mean? It depends how he says it. Is he happy? Is he angry?
Sure.
Oh yeah,
sure. Oh yeah, kind of like Groot. Just really delivers without very few words are spoken. He gets his point across. You can read him. It's a real shame they didn't keep him around. I think I would have been the same.
He'd have been great. And Bunsen Honeydew, Professor Honeydew could have been Brody. Could have been Brody. Animal could have played Hooper. And
that's right.
And Sam, the Eagle, he'd have been Quint.
He'd have been. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
He'd have been Quint to a T.
And Miss Piggy would have been Mrs. Taft.
Oh yes.
And Janice from the band, she'd have been Mrs. Brody.
Mm-hmm. She'd have been Ellen.
Yeah.
And is it Floyd, the sax player? He'd have been the mayor.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Could be a barracuda, man.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss would have said, what? Yeah.
The Swedish Chef would have been that guy. Would what?
Swedish Chef. Wow, that's a whole what if. That's a whole show right there, man.
Yeah. You could have played Quint instead of Farewell Spanish Ladies.
And all the swearing and the hollering. I mean, it's great because it would almost be like Christmas Story-esque because you don't know exactly what he's saying the whole time. You just know he's really PO'd about something, you know?
Bratten, Blatten, Butterfinger. Yeah.
Awesome.
What if?
What if? That's right.
Oh my God. I was so serious waiting to see what you were going to pop
I was
up.
like,
Show me this.
Did you find something? What did you find? He said, no, you deep dive stuff. I was like, what did you find?
Just had to throw something in there just for fun.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's great.
Good stuff. Yeah. So that kind of rounds us out as far as the hour goes. I thought, unless you guys have any last words, I thought I'd round out our show tonight with the footage and the acceptance speech of Spielberg getting his first Oscar, which sadly wasn't until, what was it, 1994?
Yeah, for Schindler's List.
Yeah,
the year
for
my
Schindler's
dad
List.
passed away. That was the year my dad passed away.
Oh, no kidding.
And I believe I don't know how much of the clip you're playing, but I believe it's Lawrence Fishburne who yells out, "It's about time," from the audience. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. And Clint Eastwood was the one who called in, which I wanted to play the whole clip, but of course the music comes in as he's walking in. I had to cut it out. So, but his acceptance speech is pretty interesting because he dedicates part of it to his mom. And as he's walking away, you can see Spielberg starting to get emotional over it. And then they pan out to his mother doing the same thing. So, yeah, pretty.
So
pretty
before
cool
we
moment.
do that, so I asked you guys this when we were off camera. So Mike, what is your acceptance speech? You've held an Oscar.
I have.
You had one in your hand. So what would your acceptance speech be?
Unlike presumably Steven Spielberg in this speech, he says, "I've never held this." I'm like, you know, you have. You're a liar. What would I do? I would thank everybody I worked with on the film. I would thank certain friends, but most importantly, I would thank the parents of my friends. Ironically, today would have been my dad's 91st birthday, and we didn't always have the best relationship. And I spent a lot of time at Matt's house, sleeping in Matt's room, eating at Matt's table. His parents always looked out for me. John Hooper's parents, Scott Gilbert's parents, Corey's parents. I would thank them. That would be my final and most importantly, thank you to them because I wouldn't be here without them. Literally. Good night.
Juanita.
Well, I would thank her too, but she would be in there.
Nate, what about you?
I'll start with my wife. Since Mike made that mistake, I won't make that mistake. I'll start with my wife. No, I would have to start out with the people that probably influenced and molded me young early on. You know, they kind of like got that seed going, get those things going. Things like my mom, most definitely, who in large raised my brother and I pretty much by herself. You know, some very close friends that had big influence and impact on me. And I would probably stretch that to then, honestly, the people now that are around me who still to this day probably influence me. My wife, you know, my son, my father-in-law, who's a huge influence on me, and someone who I'm very close to as well. And outside of that, I don't know what else. I mean, the world gets really small when you have to think that deep about things. You know, it really does. You really kind of narrow it down to what's the most important, and I have to go with that. To be perfectly honest with you, so
yeah, that's good.
What about you, Janie?
Me, obviously, my friends and my family, especially in the Jaws community, the movie community, acting community when I was younger, but and of course the spirits above me that guide me or whatever. My sister, we're both movie fans, but it would go to my dad. My dad is the one that showed it to me. And my first movie that he told me sit down, watch, and behave and watch and learn was My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, wow.
He was a director. He was theater. He knew about theater and directing, makeup artistry, and all that kind of stuff. And he the last play he did was Annie, Get Your Gun. That was the last play he did before he got sick. So it would be dedicated to my dad. Yeah, to whose great humor I have carried on in this family. So.
Well, you forgot one thing.
You guys.
You didn't mention an EpiPen.
That's right.
I hadn't got there yet. And I want to thank my cast and crew at my office today who gave me the EpiPen so I could breathe and be on here tonight. So how's that?
Without them, I would not be here.
I would not be here.
That's right. That's right. That's two, Yomi Jr.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, great quote. Great quote. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up.
I really didn't prepare a speech at all. No.
We're gonna wrap it up, and honestly, we're gonna roll it out with Steven Spielberg's speech here, and that'll kind of end our night. And yeah, really interesting, really soulful speech. You know, he gets right down to that. And when you're on that spot, you got to think that critically about things. It really kind of narrows things down and changes.
45 seconds.
So yeah,
45
awesome.
seconds.
Very cool. Well, anyone have any words they want to throw in before I pull up the clip?
Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend. Very grateful for everybody that helped me. Seriously, Oscars on Sunday night. So I'm going to go Oppenheimer all the way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Also, Svetlana Dreyfus' birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy pre-birthday if you're watching.
Her.
Yep.
Birthday to her. Awesome. And we'll do a quick fins up here. Thank you guys at home for hanging out and joining and having a wonderful evening with us once again. Love you guys all. And here we go. We're going to roll it out and we'll catch you guys, except I got to put that right in there. Sorry. Yes. Amen to that right there. Okay. Here. Have a wonderful week, everybody.